afternoon and welcome to Get Hired, Stay Hired. This is a show for executive job seekers who want to have the edge in their search and beyond. So this show is not about CVs, it's not about job boards, it's about how you show up and how you shine as yourself before, during and after the interview process so that you can get hired faster and stay hired for as long as you want to, giving you some control back. My name is Sarah Farmer. I'm an executive coach and I'm the best-selling author of Leader Unleashed, which is just behind me there. And I help leaders build the confidence, the skills and the mindset to get the job they want on their terms in less time and to keep it as long as they want to. Today, we're going to be talking about visibility with the expert visibility person maestro, Vanessa Ashworth, who will introduce herself now.
Oh, thank you very much. Welcome, everybody. And do say hello in the comments. Tell us who you are, what kind of role you're looking for and where you are. And that might make you more visible to the hiring managers, to recruiters, and also to let your peers know that you're available, which is really, really important. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So who am I? I'm Vanessa Ashworth. I'm a marketing leader. My mantra is visibility. I can't even remember it. Visibility, credibility, and memorability, and why that's so important as a marketer when I'm working for a company, but also certainly in your job search and for you yourself, whatever you're doing in your life. Why is visibility, credibility, and memorability so important? So I think we're going to get straight into it.
We are.
Absolutely. But please, in the comments, please tell us what help you need with visibility, how you are struggling to be visible to executive headhunters, recruiters, your future hiring manager, and to your peers. And then we'll kind of try and make this session as tactical as possible. And so it's not just theory, but we're actually kind of giving you kind of some solutions.
I'd also be interested to hear about what's really stopping people from being visible. Because I wonder, I mean, there's some stuff you're going to share. Oh, sorry, my phone's just gone off. No, go away. Sorry about that. That should be on hide. So yeah, I mean, what is it that's actually stopping people from being visible? You're going to be sharing stuff about the tactical side of things and what it means to be visible, but how do we actually stop ourselves from doing the things that we need to do? Is there a concern about any of it? Is there anything in particular stopping us? Do we just not know how to? What is it? So let us know. And we're also going to look at, if we have time at the end, how this visibility piece goes into once you are hired as well. So to stay hired as long as you want to and have more control over it, you need to be visible then too. Yeah. So, but we'll start with getting people hired, right?
Yeah.
So what's the first thing that's most important then, Vanessa? What do we need to look at?
I think first of all, we need to understand why visibility matters. And the fact is, a lot of people kind of, when they start looking for a job, just start looking through job boards and firing off the CVs to as many things as possible. But as we talked about last week, you're handing the control over to someone else. It's completely out of your control now. You're waiting for your CV to do all that heavy lifting. And as we all know, it's really, really, really rare to get hired from a job that's been advertised online. Hundreds of CVs are being thrown at that job. So you're waiting for your CV to do all that heavy lifting. So if you are visible, we can get other people to do all that heavy lifting for us. And that's the plan.
And so just a little bit of visibility there. Look, just by doing that.
Just there you go. So visibility, takes back some of that control to you. And if you can get other people doing that heavy lifting for you, then you can concentrate on your job search strategy. You can lean into more kind of showing your value and being visible so that people come to you. And this is the idea, isn't it? It's making yourself and your value visible so that the jobs come to you rather than you having to fight for jobs.
Ideally, yes.
But absolutely. If you can be visible and share your expertise and share your knowledge, build that credibility, being memorable, so that your peers, people who you've worked with before, when they're talking to somebody and they hear that somebody needs a marketer, they're going to say, oh, you need a Vanessa on your team. Let me introduce you.
So what are the top 1 to 3 ways that people, because you're really, really good at this. There may be more things that you can do, I don't know, but I see you as the epitome of visibility. So what would you recommend to people doing that they may not be doing already? And then when we look at those, we can ask people, are you doing those? If not, what's stopping you? And also, are you doing them? Are you doing them well enough?
Yeah. Okay. So you have to kind of identify who your target audience is. It's hiring managers of the kind of companies of the size that you want in the sectors where you enjoy working. That's one target audience. And I would say that when you are commenting on posting on LinkedIn, that's the ideal client that you need to have in your mind. That's the person who you're going to start thinking, okay, what is this person's problem? What is keeping this person up at night? What are they thinking about now in their business? So it's September, isn't it? And you're hiring the C-suite, the CEOs are thinking about how they can bring this year to a really successful close, close the gaps, get your budgets in and get that strategy set for next year. So if you think about the hiring manager of your dreams, what are they thinking about? What are their problems now? And specifically, what solution do you bring? What value do you bring? And try and make it stand out and try and make it personal. Create that value proposition and the messages for you that'll make you stand out. And then when we think about who our ideal people are and what their problems are, so it's the hiring managers, it's those exec headhunters, it's who else is it? It's your network. We can then decide who they are, what the problems are, how you can help, and you can start showing up where they are.
So where are we showing this? So we've got our banners, we've got our LinkedIn headlines, we've got the about section, we've got what else? I mean,
so it's everything, isn't it? So if you think about the hiring manager, so that's the ultimate person who you want to be seen to, and he or she is going to see you either directly or being referred by someone kind of you both know. So where do they hang out? They might be on LinkedIn, or they might not be. I mean, you might decide for a more direct approach by finding out kind of the company and their email address and sending them a direct approach. Why not? Finding out on LinkedIn who they are connected to, who can make that introduction for you. Give them a push. But you're ring their bell on LinkedIn. So when you kind of do your research and find some kind of likely looking candidates, and again, it might not be that person who becomes your hiring manager, but they might be connected to another CEO that becomes that. Ring their bell on LinkedIn, then you can start commenting on their posts if they're active, and you can start being visible to them by sharing your expertise directly. And I can bet you that most of the people who are looking for jobs now haven't done that piece and aren't making themselves visible to their potential next CEO.
I've just got a question to the chat saying, just, what do you find most challenging about being visible? Let's get that out there, because I've spoken to a lot of people who don't feel confident doing what you do. So what I see you doing so well is you're very clear on what you do. You're very clear on the value that you bring. You tell stories on LinkedIn about how that value actually transpires in real life. The whole sort of aesthetics piece of your LinkedIn profile says, look at me, in a really nice way, in a good way. You share videos. You're really good on videos. Now, not everybody's going to feel comfortable doing all of that stuff. But
I can answer this. I can answer this because you have to get out of your own way, because it's not about you. Remember, it's not about you. It's about how you can help. So it really isn't about you. And when I first saw people doing videos on LinkedIn back in 2020, when I became unemployed for the first time in ever, I saw people doing videos on LinkedIn, and they were very rare, but I just thought, oh, how vain. Because I was projecting my fear onto the absolutely. That's all it was.
And then you went hula hoop crazy.
And then I just went because I got over myself, and I realized that it wasn't about me at all. It wasn't about how much makeup I had on or what I looked like or anything like that. And you'll see some of my videos, I look a mess, and I'm in driving rain, and because it isn't about me. It's about how I can help. It's about how I can help you out there with your problem and solving your problem. And So that's the biggest fear, isn't it? It's that, oh, people will think I'm showing off. People will think I'm drawing attention to myself. Forget all that. How do you help? People need to know.
If
You
the
can't.
if the intent is right, if the intent is I want to help versus I want to show off and tell everybody that I'm marvelous and just because I'm marvelous, you can tell the difference. So if we get the intent right, and then everything that runs up out of that intent will be more emotionally intelligent, it'll be more in tune, it'll be more authentic, it'll hit home better. This has just come through from me. My fear of being seen, but also I feel small. I know I'm ready and hungry for new responsibility. My manager thinks I'm too junior. How can I make the jump? Okay. So I'm going to go to you in a second on this, but just to say, actually, it doesn't matter the background to this. But the thing is, if you want to get promoted, what you need to do is know, how am I going to be promoted? What is the timeline? What hoops do I have to jump through? How do I prove that I've done it? And then keep communicating it. If you have a fear of being seen and also I feel small, there's a bit of imposter syndrome in there possibly, or just low levels of confidence, you will not be communicating and sharing the value that you add enough for people to think, oh yeah, Hibby, when the next thing comes up, that's going to be yours. So there's a few things. Get prepared for it. Find out what it is that you need to do and what you need to achieve, and then keep communicating it. And if you don't have the confidence to do that, work on your confidence.
Yeah, I think.
What do you think?
That's absolutely true. And we talked about it a little bit at the beginning, didn't we? About how you've got to be visible when you're actually in a role. And when you're in a role, especially at the beginning of a role where you're working really hard to create success, we forget to step back and look how far we've come and look at what we've delivered. It took me until I left ASAFE to think, okay, what did I deliver there? What value did I bring? Because when I was in it, even though I kept saying to the team, we've got to market our marketing, we've got to shout about how great, the great work we've done, I completely forgot myself. And
can I challenge you on that though?
Go on.
Can I coach you for a second? Did you forget, or was part of it, I feel icky? Because I know you quite well. And I know you know what you need to do. So I'm wondering whether there was a bit of an unconscious, subconscious, oh, people should know, I'm doing enough. But really, were you? And I guess the question is, would you do it differently next?
Oh, yeah, 100% I'd do it differently. Yeah. But I mean, I'm not going to go into it. There's loads of reasons why I perhaps didn't.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, it is absolutely fine, because we all suffer from this, don't we? But it's really important to look at what you've achieved, to stop and look back. And, when I was at ASAFE, I doubled, in the 12 months, I doubled the number of inquiries that came in online without really doing anything to the website or even trying. That was definitely because of the visibility, credibility and memorability campaign that we put in, that was making us, the brand, much more visible and credible outside, so people were coming to us. But I didn't notice that until I looked at the stats when I was leaving it. And and there's so many things.
Can we just answer this question as well? Is lack of confidence due to recently being made redundant. Totally understand that. I have been made redundant once, and I wanted to be, and it still affected me. I don't feel comfortable because I've suffered the same reaction as most, thinking it's personal. Do you mean, Bev, that you? Okay, sorry. Yes, that you feel that the redundancy was personal. Do you know what? Sometimes it is, and it's nothing to do with you. It's everything to do with them, and maybe it's a little bit to do with you too. It's just sometimes you just don't. It just doesn't mix right. But one of the things that's really important, Bev, is to get your confidence back. And if you are telling yourself, I don't feel confident, it feels personal, and all that sort of negative narrative, you will remain stuck in that. And I'm sure you are trying to get yourself out of it. But simply by switching the narrative and saying, actually, the other truth to this could be, I am valuable. I've had a lucky escape, whatever it is, the positive thinking that will, because your brain can't think two things at once. And if you haven't read Leader Unleashed yet, highly recommend you do. You can send me a message afterwards and I'll send you a copy. You don't even have to buy one. I won't do that to many people, but
the easiest way to build up your confidence and to absolutely nail that you are the expert in what you do is to become an expert in yourself. And so look at that CV, go through it and look at all the value that you've brought forward, because you put it all in your CV, don't you? You need those smart things that you've delivered, the value that you've delivered. And then if you look on my feed a couple of weeks ago, one day, Monday to Friday, I posted about something that I delivered from my CV. I told the story in more detail of the value that I brought, right? And by talking about the value you've brought visibly on LinkedIn or wherever, it then you kind of you get confidence in your competence when you start talking about it.
Completely. It's a two-pronged attack, isn't it? It helps people understand, but it also builds our own confidence, which is why when I'm talking about the narrative that we're telling ourselves, we can easily make ourselves shrink smaller and smaller and smaller by sticking to the negative narrative, or we can choose another approach. So getting over the imposter syndrome and believing that you have something to say that people want to hear can be a big challenge. It sure can. I've got a great program for that, actually, if you want it. So I specialize in helping people take control of imposter syndrome. And actually, if you read the book Leader Unleashed, everything I talk about is in there. But if you do want more help, then get in touch.
Absolutely. Sorry, go on.
There's a range of ways we can do that. But the trouble is, if we are feeling small, if we're feeling less valuable, then we are always going to be less effective in everything that we do before, during, and after getting the job of our dreams. So I always say, get the foundations right until your confidence is the right level, not too much, not too little, just enough, more of the time. Everything else will fall a little bit flat. So get that sorted first.
Yeah. And remember as well, kind of, again, be the expert in you and the value that you've created, because no one else is better than that. So you don't need to compare yourself to anyone else. Just go through your CV, understand where you've delivered value, and become the expert in your story. And don't worry about other people you see online who know more about marketing or less about marketing or something different about marketing or whatever it is that you do. None of that matters, because we're all a good fit for someone somewhere at our level of competence. And this is why, again, visibility for you in what you do it will really help you in your job role, because you will repel those who you aren't a good fit for.
Yeah.
But more importantly, you'll attract like a magnet the people who you are a good fit for.
And that's a really huge point, is we get so worried about losing out and missing somebody that we forget to focus and really be visible to the right people. And we talked about scattergunning last week, didn't we? And we're just applying for anything and everything. Know what you want, understand your value, and talk to those people, because you don't want to be employed by the people that you are pretending to be right for, because it'll end in a nightmare. Bev, so yeah, it's amazing how our confidence can make us feel less competent. I'm going to say this to you, it might not make any difference whatsoever. I don't even know you, but you are just as competent today as you were a year ago. All right. What you're doing is going through a normal grieving process. And yeah, if you need a chat, then just get in touch. I will do what I can. But it's not pleasant. I mean, Vanessa is you're going through the job search process, and your mindset, I know you have days when you just go, but your mindset is generally, right, I've got this, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
And that is a choice that we can all make. But for some, it's a little bit harder to get there, but it is worth it if you can.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And again, it's this, oh God, it breaks my heart to hear that you don't feel competent.
I know, it's sad. I know.
Because you are you, and you are your own kind of, you're the superpower. There's, no one else can do what you do, because there only is one you. And so you've really got to look into all the things that you love doing, do that ikigai thing where it's what you love, what you're good at, what people will pay for. Sit back and forget about job hunting for a minute and think about the things that you love doing and the things that you're good at, and find that value that you delivered before, because you will deliver more value again. just lean in.
Yeah, listen, and you can't have been an ops director or a head of customer service director before if you didn't have any competence.
Absolutely.
So, a lot of the time what happens is there's just something happens, and I would be quite happy to explore this with you, because the narrative you've got behind this is going to hold you back. So we need to sort out the narrative that something's happened, but how you are portraying that narrative to yourself is being really unhelpful. You are a brilliant ops director or a head of customer service director. You need to believe that, because otherwise others won't believe you. So work on you first. We believe in you, Bev.
We do, absolutely.
We're leading you, Bev. Okay. Right. What else? I haven't got any questions at the moment. So what else do we need to know about visibility?
So visibility is, how can you be visible? Okay. So we've said already. We've talked briefly about posting on LinkedIn and doing videos. I mean, it's great to do videos because you're talking to the camera, and you can't deliver video authentically reading from ChatGPT. Yeah. So and people can see if it's kind of awkward and practiced. Whereas if you're kind of walking the dog and talking about the value you deliver, it's really, really authentic.
Yeah.
And people will look into your eyes, and that's where credibility comes in, because people will trust you and trust that you know what you're talking about. So video is really, really strong. Posting on LinkedIn, again, find bits in your CV, the value you've delivered, and tell the story behind it. People love stories. So there's posting. Commenting. If you're not brave enough to post, that's fine. Commenting. We've said already, ring the bell of the C-suite people, your next peers, colleagues, and your next hiring managers, and start commenting on their posts and sharing your expertise. Again, that'll give you confidence in your expertise to begin posting about it. Do a search on LinkedIn and find headhunters and recruiters in your space and connect with them. And don't just blindly connect. Send them a message. Tell them that you'd be happy to share your CV. Tell them who you are, what your niche is, what this value proposition is. Offer to send your CV and say, let's have a chat. And let's discuss the state of the market or something. Try and get them to kind of have a conversation with you. Again, because we want them to be kind of doing the work for you, so that they can give you and kind of give you a bit of confidence. They can tell you about the market. You're on their radar then, should a job come in, but also they'll have trusted partners, companies that they work with all the time. And by meeting you, they'll think, I know a company that this person will be a great fit for. So it's really important. Again, posting and commenting makes you visible to your peers.
And one thing I do want to say is, and I felt this very much when I started on LinkedIn, not at all now actually, but I used to think, well, everyone knows that. If I say that, I'm just going to look an idiot, because everybody knows that. What amazed me is that not everybody knew what I knew about imposter syndrome, leadership skills, communication excellence. No, not everybody. Some people do, and you end up being sort of linked into all people like you who already know that. So by going to the people that you want to be hired by or work with in the future, you're actually going to the people that do matter and aren't like you, and they don't know about being an ops director. They don't know about being a CMO. They know about their thing, which might be CEO or COO or something else. So please, please, please remember that your knowledge is your power. And by sharing it with emotional intelligence, you don't look like you're showing off. You actually look like you're sharing with the right intent. I just want to say, Wendy's just joined us. Hello, Wendy. I just want to say also, while you're watching this, if you've got any questions that aren't about visibility, you've just got some general questions around mindset or marketing to help you get hired faster and stay hired longer, please pop those in the chat. We are focusing on visibility today, but you know, we're here for you.
Yeah.
What's Wendy say? Confidence. Speak to someone you work for or with, and get them to tell you what you're great at. I was in your position here and it helped me. That's a really, really top tip, Wendy. Thank you. Because sometimes the trouble is, when we are stuck in that mindset, we cannot, it's like you're looking into a muddy pond and you just can't see the bottom. And someone else will start saying, oh, but you remember that? And then the pond starts to clear a bit. And after you've had that a little while, you're like, oh, Look what's at the bottom. This is the brilliant me. I'm there shining back at me. But do capture those things and put them in a happy file somewhere so that you always remember it. You can go back and pick out ones that you need to whenever you need to, just to boost your confidence a bit more.
Yeah. And just thinking about then just adding to what we were saying earlier about kind of connecting with recruiters and executive headhunters and things like that. Remember as well the job boards like Indeed and Reed and there are a few others. You need to keep your profile updated on there. So one thing is to kind of re-upload your CV every week, just to kind of tell the site that you're still actively looking, so that you become visible. And of course, we talked about this a little bit, didn't we? And I almost don't want to bring it up. LinkedIn needs to know that you're job hunting. So you can tick the box to let recruiters know.
Should we have the green banner?
And do you want to tick the box that lets everyone know with the green banner? And we had a bit of a discussion about this last week. And then during the week, Richard van der Blom, who talks about LinkedIn strategy and visibility on LinkedIn, said, because he put some posts, I think, about for job hunting, and he said that putting the green banner on was career suicide. Now, I think that's rather strong words, and I know people who are at exec level who've used it and they've said it's helpful. I'm not a fan, and I think it's all very subjective, isn't it?
It's personal, right?
So
it's really
subjective.
personal.
He did not say why it was career suicide, and quite a few people typed and said, "Why is it career? Why do you say this?" And he didn't answer, as far as I know. He hadn't when I looked last week. So I don't know.
Do you think? So I don't know whether he's not talking about executive recruitment specifically. He's just talking about recruitment generally. And so I actually disagree with him in that it's career suicide for everybody.
Yeah.
My feeling, and it's just a feeling, is at the executive level, you should have enough contacts and goodwill throughout your career to not need it. But by letting recruiters know behind the scenes that you're looking, that should be enough.
Yeah.
But if you want to have it on there, there's nothing wrong with it. But I think at the more junior levels, you're in with hundreds of thousands of people looking for jobs. How are you supposed to stand out? And people are searching on it, so it is completely personal.
Yeah. And Bev says that there. How do you cut through the noise with so many good people looking for roles? And the fact is, Bev, that loads of people are just sat behind the computers and they're firing off the CVs.
Yeah.
They're not making themselves visible. They're not going about it more strategically. They're not posting the content that will get them hired and things like that. And visibility, credibility, memorability. So in the past kind of 4 or 5 years, and I've been contracting and things like that, Wendy, who's on, she got me a job and we'd never met. We just met on LinkedIn by being visible to each other and supporting each other. She said to her C-suite, "Your marketing's terrible. You need to get Vanessa in." Another person who I met on LinkedIn, again, I'd never met in real life, but we were talking about marketing and we were really aligned in what we were saying. So we became friends, even though we'd never met each other. And she invited me to an event, and it was there where I met her customers. That got me a role.
Yeah.
Just last week, a recruitment manager who's got his own recruitment company remembered me from 4 years ago because I was memorable on LinkedIn, and he got in contact with me about a role.
Yeah, you just we just don't know who's looking. We've said before last week, it's not the be all and end all to be on LinkedIn, but if you're not playing in the playground with everybody else, you are missing an opportunity. If you're playing in the playground with everybody else and you're not standing out for all the right reasons, you're missing a trick. You're not taking as much control of your future success as you could be before, during, and after. So what we talk about is the mindset and the marketing side of things to help you. You've got the job skills. We know that. You can tick the boxes. You've got widget A, you've got widget B, you've done this, you've got this qualification. But actually, there's a lot of you like that. So to stand out and cut through the noise, be seen, be found, get hired that way. And watch people like Vanessa who do it really well. Now, there's a lot of us on LinkedIn who are not looking for jobs, who run our own businesses, like me. You might think, well, Sarah finds it easy because you're a mindset coach and yada yada. No, I don't find it easy at all. I'm always having to think about something to say. I'm very careful about what I write most of the time. But I've got to a point where if I didn't use it, it's part of my marketing strategy. It can be yours too, but it is not my be all and end all. I get my business like you get your jobs through referral, through people who might have seen me or met me on here, but maybe 5 years on. All right. So stand out in that playground. So the sector you're working on is collapse, higher education, student recruitment. So I'll have to pivot out of that again. It's more difficult to connect with the right people. Okay. And what's interesting here, Bev, and I hope you don't mind me doing this, but when I look at this with my coach hat on, the sector's collapsed. That's a big word. I mean, yes, okay, it's collapsed. Has it actually? Is there nothing left there? Don't know, but it's quite a big word. So I'll have to pivot out of that again. This language in itself screams how you're feeling. What if, the sector is smaller than it was. I'm looking forward to getting out of that and finding something else. And I know you're probably miles off that yet, but just the language you're using just screams to me. I don't know if you can see it as well, Vanessa. We can feel your pain, and it's really. I'm not saying it's easy, by the way, to pivot and get out of it. But what I'm focusing on is the language that you're using, which will probably be keeping you stuck. It's more difficult to connect with the right people because I'd work in any sector and have worked in events. Okay, so last week, I don't know if you've watched it, but watch it back on replay. We talked about how do we find where we want to go, who are our people. And we did Little Ikigai, which is the three concentric circles, hedgehog concept. What am I best at? And not just a job, but what am I best at? One of my skills are as good as the best at. You might need a little work on that because you don't think you're that good at the moment. What do I need to earn? What's going to drive my economic engine? So how much do I need to earn? How much do I want to earn? That might be a bit of a range. And what do I love? What do I love doing? So I think for you, Bev, this is very much about, it does sound really tricky for you, by the way, and I'm so sorry this has happened to you. But what a fantastic opportunity to get into somewhere new, exciting, where you can add your value when you believe in it. Start thinking about that sort of stuff. Look back at the show from last week and hopefully that will help.
But one thing that I keep telling myself, because I know that the market that isn't flooded with great jobs at the minute, and there are even fewer jobs at exec level, but I don't need 10. I don't need 20. I don't need 100. I just need the one. And I need the one that's right for me.
Nice.
Do you know, so even though there aren't lots of jobs coming up in higher education, there will be a university somewhere where an opportunity arrives and you do just need the one. And as Sarah said, you will have amazing transferable skills.
Huge. You just can't think of them yet.
Yeah. And I live in abundance. Everything's going to be all right.
Just have half an hour with Vanessa. She'll either drive you mad or inspire you.
Probably drive you mad. Yeah.
Inspire you. Okay, so we've got a few minutes left. If there's any more questions, do let us know. Have you got any other top tips? I was thinking about some real aesthetic stuff, which I don't know if we should go into, but I'm just thinking as things, even if you're not happy posting on LinkedIn, I know we're focusing on LinkedIn a lot, but it's just it's like a screen, isn't it?
Yeah.
We can just see this person. What about your banners? What about the words you're using? And I am going to drop in, actually, there's a lovely lady called Jane who we're going to get on the show. If you want to get your banners sorted, or if you've even got a website or something, maybe, I don't know what you're doing with it. But I'm going to pop her contact details in here because she did my banner for me a while ago when I didn't know what I was doing. And it was lovely. I mean, I've changed it since then. No disrespect to her, but I changed my whole branding. So I popped her talent there just in case you want to look at your banner.
It is really, really important. And kind of when I think about marketing promotion for wherever I'm working, you can't buy what you can't see. When you go to the supermarket, you might have a favorite brand of shampoo that you've heard about, but if it isn't there on the shelf, you can't pick it. So you're going to pick something else. So you've got to make yourself visible. So, and everything about you has to be visible. You think about what the value proposition, what value you bring, put it in your banner, put it in your headline, make it sing throughout your experience and in your about section, create posts about it, put it in your featured section, because even if kind of my hiring manager, the CEO, is not on LinkedIn today or active, the posts that I create are for that person to read. So they're then in my featured sections that then when they do come and check me out before inviting me for an interview, all the messages that I need them to see subconsciously are there before we even get to an interview. So make sure that your profile is your shop window. And then when you start being visible, everything that you want them to know is there for them to see. Nice. Yeah, you can't buy what you can't see, so make yourself visible. And do a flare post. Flare, I mean, and try and get it right.
Know what that is? Did people know? I didn't know what it was until a while ago.
So a flare post is telling people that you're available. There are different ways of doing it. You'll have seen quite a few people that have gone viral in desperation. I'm going to have to sell the house. I'm going to have to sell the kids and my grandma. You know, there's all that going on. I'm not laughing at the situation. It is.
I'm sorry. No one is selling.
It's really bad. It was me. But so think about how you're showing up. Is that going to get you a role? Maybe not. But if you can lean into, this is the value that I bring, this is the kind of thing I do, I'm available now, and make that visible and get your friends to share it and to comment on it, and try and make it seen, but tell people you're available, remind people that you're available, keep knocking on those doors.
I did see a really good example of that. I think it was 2 weeks ago, and the name's gone out of my head, but I will find it and I'll pop it on the link to here. Do you remember there was a guy who did the most amazing flare post, and I copied you and I said you'd like this one. Oh, yeah. I'll try and dig it out, but it was funny. It showed humility. It was just, everything about it was just spot on. There was no, I mean, all right, yes, he would like a job and he would like it soon, but it wasn't desperately needy. It didn't come across as desperate. It came across incredibly well. So there are ways of doing this beautifully, and I will go and find that somewhere in the archives.
Yeah. And then just as we said last week, you know, your executive job seekers, you solve companies' problems. You solve big problems for companies. So remember that they need you more than you need them, really. They need you to solve a problem that's stopping them from growing, that's stopping them from entering a new market, that's stopping them from working profitably. You've got so much to offer, and you've really got to lean into that competence and remember the value that you bring, those big problems that you solve for companies. Because they need you, and you've just got to find the right one.
And that is a really good place, I think, to bring this to a close today, is to remember that people need you. You know, you've had a job before, which means somebody needed your skills. That suddenly hasn't gone because you've been made redundant, or for whatever reason you're changing roles. It hasn't suddenly gone. So please keep that in your head. So brilliant. I mean, you've shared so much today, Vanessa. Thank you. I mean, I hope people have found that. Well, I know they'll have found it really helpful. If you're watching this on replay, if you've got any questions about it, pop it in. It'll go into our feeds. What we'd like to do next week is know from you, what do you want to know from a confidence mindset, interviewing skills perspective, a marketing perspective, visibility, you name it. What do you need from us? What's stopping you, do you think, from getting the job of your dreams on your terms? How can we help you?
Yeah, I wonder if it is leaning into that, having confidence in your competence bit, making people recognize their I don't know.
Yeah, well, we can have a look next week at what happens when you don't, and then we can work out from that what happens when you do, and how to do it. And you know, we're quite happy to, we talk about this stuff because we know it, and it just rolls off the tongue, but actually we will repeat a lot of this stuff over and over again because we have different people come on needing different things at different times, and also we do it quite fast, so it's quite good to repeat it. So we're not worried about repeating stuff if you need us to, but tell us what you need. And also I just wanted to say is last week we talked about AI interviews. Oh, yeah. And I have met a fabulous gentleman called Tom. Tom, surname's just gone out of my head. Tom, if you're there, do come on and say hi. He works for Match.com, or has created Match.com. I might have even got that bit wrong. Anyway, lovely guy. And he's going to come and talk to us about AI interviewing.
Okay.
So he's talking about glass box versus black box. I don't know. It's a mystery to me, but I'm going to chat to him this week, and then we're going to get him on as a guest. So if any of you are going through or thinking about including AI interviewing into your organizations now in the future, then please make sure you tune into that one and let us know what questions you've got about that as well.
Very good.
Bev, you are most welcome. So yeah, thank you, Vanessa. Thank you for joining us today. Do let anyone in your network that you know who is an executive job seeker who may find these sessions valuable, that we go live every Monday for 40 minutes. We just want to help you as much as we can. Keep in touch. Tell us what you need. We're here to help you. And we'll see you all next week.
See you next week. Thanks, everyone.